everybody, and welcome to Monday Morning Must-Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfeld, and I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving, enjoyed your Thursday and probably a Friday off, enjoyed your weekend, and now are all rested, recovered, and ready for a great December starting on December 1st, which of course is Monday. Now, let's wrap up with November. Not the best news for the S&P and the Nasdaq. There was some negativity for both of those ones. It's the first time in 6 months that the S&P has had a negative month. Is it a sign of things to come, or will the Santa Claus rally take over and push us even higher? That I don't know, but I do know what's coming up for the week ahead. So let's get things started and talk about your earnings calendar to begin with. I've got a lot of data this week, so we'll start step by step here. Looking on to Monday, you've got MongoDB, nothing that exciting. On Tuesday, you've got Okta, Marvell Technologies, American Eagle Outfitters, and the cybersecurity company CrowdStrike. Moving on to your Wednesday calendar, we have Salesforce, we've got Snowflake, and Path, which is iPath, or UiPath, nice AI company there. On Thursday, you've got Lululemon, Ulta, Kroger, DocuSign, Dollar General, and Hewlett-Packard. And wrapping up your week, on a Friday, I've got none other than Victoria's Secret. Hey, holiday season coming up, gentlemen, Victoria's Secret. All right. Let's shift on to some other things. Now, normally I talk about service and manufacturing numbers in the same breath. This time it's a little bit different. It's going to be exclusively manufacturing this time, and it really kicks off December 1st on that day, Monday, with some manufacturing data from around the world. So let's start there with your manufacturing numbers. Of course, we want to see what manufacturing looks like around the world. Is it increasing, decreasing? Who's got strength? Who's got weakness? Start things off across the pond with Italy. Let's see how the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris are doing. Then we move over to Germany at 3:55 a.m. Eastern Time. This is for the Porsches and the BMWs. Then we have the whole European Union at 4 a.m., England at 4:30 a.m., and then we have a double for the United States, actually. At 9:45 Eastern Time, we get our U.S. manufacturing numbers, but then we get the ISM manufacturing PMI numbers 15 minutes later. Now, I think that's rather important because you get a double dose from manufacturing data from different entities to see what the different perspectives are. Of course, this will be important for the United States, but not as important as some of the other stuff because we've been talking about jobs, and because the government was shut down, we didn't get a lot of jobs data. Well, now chickens might be coming home to roost, so to speak. We start things off with a lighter week than normal. Normally there's 5 announcements during the employment data reports, but we're missing a couple this week because, well, the government wasn't shut down. We look for the first one, which is Wednesday at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time. That is the ADP non-farm employment change. That's a biggie. Challenger job cuts comes out on Thursday at 7:30 a.m. And then the unemployment claims, as always, on Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Now, that's not the big piece, right? We want to see the unemployment rate, but that's going to get delayed a couple of weeks here. The big stuff is really the consumer price index numbers, right? Because we didn't get CPI numbers last week when we should have gotten them. So now we're going to get the core PCE price index numbers. And why is this important? Because it measures inflation. People want to know what inflation is doing. Because remember, December 10th, the Fed is going to be making a rate announcement. And a lot of people are expecting them to cut rates right now. There's some that are expecting maybe not, depending on this number right here. So let's take a peek at our Core PCE price index. That's going to come out Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can see we've been fairly normalized. This actually is a good thing from the Fed's perspective because they want to see inflation dropping. Right now, the number, as you can see on your screen, says 0.2. Well, that's important because at 0.2, that annualizes at 2.4% inflation, which would be closer to what the Fed's target is of 2%. Now remember, as things have changed because the government shut down and of course we have a gap in data, we might get some anomalies here. So I would urge caution Friday. Of course, this happens 1 hour before the equity markets open, but this could be one of those pieces that sends the markets absolutely reeling, either up or down. We just don't know which way that's going to go at this point, but this is a major piece which will most likely determine what the Fed is going to do on December 10th. That, my friends, is your Monday Morning Must-Knows. You got a ton of stuff to pay attention to the upcoming trading week, especially that core PCE price index numbers. We'll see you next week.